My name is Emily. I am 29 years old and I live in a small town in Oregon. I work as a receptionist at a small clinic on the outskirts of town. Our clinic is not big, but it's cozy, and usually there are always people here. Patients, doctors, nurses. But that day was different. It was a Saturday, and I was alone to finish a report that was due on Monday. I thought I would spend a couple hours here, and then go home. But things didn't go as I had planned. The clinic closed at 5 p.m., and by then, everyone had already left. I was alone in a building that suddenly seemed huge and intimidating. I turned on the lights only in my office to save electricity and sat down at my computer. It was already dark outside the window, and the silence, which at first seemed pleasant, began to weigh on me. I could hear only the ticking of the clock on the wall and the occasional sounds of the old building, the creaking of floorboards, the crackling of pipes. I tried to ignore it, but it was getting scarier by the hour. At about 8 o'clock in the evening, I heard the first strange sound. It was a thud, like someone knocking on the door of the clinic. I thought maybe it was the wind or one of the employees forgot something and came back. I looked out into the hallway, but there was no one there. The door was locked and there was only a dark void behind the glass. I went back into the office, but a few minutes later the knocking was repeated. It was louder this time, like someone was pounding on the door insistently. I picked up my phone and went to the door, but again I didn't see anyone. I decided to call the police, but at that moment, the lights in the hallway began to flicker. I froze in place, feeling my heart pounding frantically in my chest. I knew it happened in old buildings, but that didn't make the situation any less frightening. I went back into the office and closed the door, but the strange sounds didn't stop. Now, it was footsteps crisp, slow, as if someone was walking down the hallway. I sat at my desk, phone in hand, and didn't know what to do. Suddenly, I heard the door to the clinic open. I knew it was locked, but the sound was unmistakable. The creak of hinges, then footsteps in the hallway. I dialed 911, but at that moment the lights in my office went out. I heard someone come to the door and stop. I held my breath, feeling cold sweat trickle down my back. The doorknob slowly turned and the door began to open. I screamed and threw everything I had at hand, my coffee cup, my file folders, towards the door. At that moment, the light came back on and I saw a man in black clothes and a mask standing in the doorway. He looked at me silently and then abruptly turned and ran away. I heard the clinic door slam shut and the police arrived a few minutes later. It turned out to be a burglar who knew that the clinic was empty on weekends. He followed me and waited for me to be alone. The police never caught him, but since then, I've never been alone at work again. That night taught me that loneliness can be dangerous, and silence can be deceiving. I often think about what might have happened if I hadn't thrown the cup at him, or if the light hadn't come on in time. Perhaps he just wanted to steal something from the clinic, but his behavior and the mask on his face made me think the worst. I still can't forget his gaze, cold, unemotional, as if he was looking through me. Since then, I always make sure the doors are securely locked and the lights are on in every room. I have also installed a security system in the clinic with cameras and motion sensors. But even that doesn't make me feel any less anxious when I'm alone here. If you liked this story, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. There are many more stories ahead that will make you think about what lies behind the usual reality. After all, sometimes danger is closer than it seems, and even in the most ordinary places, like the office, something can happen that will change your life forever. Thanks for listening to my story to the end, friend. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. There are many more chilling stories ahead that will make you think about what lies behind the usual reality.